Hello students, today I will going to teach you Unit 4 Waiting for Godot written by Samuel Beckett. Today we will discuss analysis of Samuel Beckett Waiting for Godot. It is a peculiar richness of a play like Waiting for Godot that it opens vistas on so many different perspectives. It is open to philosophical, religious, and psychological interpretation. Yet, above all, it is a poem on time, evanescence, and the mysteriousness of existence, the paradox of change, stability, necessity, absurdity. Two tramps in bowler hats, a desolate country road, a single bare tree, the iconic image of radically new modern drama, confronted the audience at the theatre The Babylon in Paris on January 5, 1953, at the premiere of In Godot, Waiting for Godot. Written during the winter of 1948-49, it would take Samuel Beckett 4 years to get it produced. It is easy to see why. As a play first director, Roger Blinn commented, "Image a play that contains no action but the character has that have nothing to say to each other. The main characters, Vladimir and Estrogons, nicknamed Didi and Gogo, are waiting the arrival of Godot, but we never learn why nor who he is because he never arrives. The tramps frequently says let's go, but they never move. We never learn where the road lands nor see the tramps taking it. The play gratifies no expectation and resolves nothing. Instead, it denotes the accepted operating principle of drama that we expect to find in a play, a coherent sequence of actions, motives, and conflicts leading to a resolution. It substitutes the core dramatic element of suspense, waiting, and force the audience to experience the same anticipation and uncertainty of Vladimir and Estragon, while raising fundamental issues about the nature and the purpose of existence itself. Our own elemental version of waiting. If modern drama originates in the 19th century with Henrik Ibsen and Anton Beckett with Waiting for Godot, extend the implication of their innovations into a radical kind of theoretical experience and method. The theoretical and existential vision of Waiting for Godot make it in the watershed 20th century drama as explosive, groundbreaking, and influential a work as T.S. Eliot, The Wasteland is for modern poetry, and James Joyce's Ulysses is for modern fiction. From its initial baffling premiere, Waiting for Godot would be seen. It is estimated by more than 1 million people in the next 5 years and eventually became the most frequently produced modern drama worldwide, entering the collective consciousness with a Beckett like landscape and establishing the elusive Godot as a shorthand image of modern futility and angst. Like his fellow countryman and mentor Joyce Beckett oriented himself in exile from the native Ireland, but unlike Joyce, who managed to remain relatively safe on the fringes of a modern world spinning out of control, Beckett was very much plugged into the maelstrom. He was born in Foxrock, a respectable suburb of Dublin, to Protestant Anglo-Irish parents. His education of Portora Royal School and at Trinity College, Dublin, where he received his degree in French and Italian, pointed him towards a distinguished academic career. In 1928, Beckett won an exchange leadership at the For Economies Superior in Paris, where he met Joyce and assisted him in his labor on Finnegan's Wake. Beckett returned to Trinity as a lecturer in French but found teaching grim. He would state, "I would never bear the absurdity of the teaching others what I did not know myself." In 1932, he left Ireland for the good, except for the short visit to his family. When World War II broke out, Beckett ended a visit home and returned to Paris, later stating, "I prefer France in war to Ireland in peace." During the war, Beckett joined the French resistance in Paris and with his group was infiltrated by a double agent and betrayed to a Gestapo. He was forced to escape to unoccupied France in 1942, where he worked as a farmer laborer until the war ended. In 1946, Beckett struggled to restart his interpreted and stated his literacy career that produced a critical study of Marcel Proust, a collection of short stories, a volume of poems, and two novels. The turning point came during a visit to his mother in Foxrock. He would later transfer the epiphany that gave him a new subject and method to the more dramatic setting of the pair in Dun Lager on a stormy night in Crap Last Day. Spiritually, a year of profound gloom and indulgence until that memorable night in March at the end of Jetty in the howling wind, never to be forgotten. When suddenly I saw the whole thing, the vision of last, when I suddenly saw, then was this, that the dark I have always struggled to keep under it is reality my most. As Beckett biographer James Nonslins summarized, Beckett instant mad that he would draw henceforward of his own inner world for his subjects. Beckett would thereby find the way to bypass the particular to deal directly with the universal. His fiction and play would not be social or psychological but ontological. To mine those inner recesses, Beckett would reverse the centrifugal direction of most writers to contain and comprehend the war for the centripetal of reduction down to essential. Beckett worked the atmosphere of futility and stagnation around which Chekhov divided his play and stories has become persuasive. The world is drained of meaning. Human relationships are reduced to tension between hope and despair, in which consciousness itself is problematic. Beckett, protagonists who lack the possibility of significant action are paralyzed or forced to repeat an unchanging conditions. Returning to Paris after his epiphany, Beckett began when what he called the siege in the room, his most sustained and prolific period of writing that in 5 years produced the play Waiting for Godot and Endgame, the novel trilogy Molly, Malondies and the Unnameable, and the short stories published under the title Stories and Texts for Nothing. Beckett stated the Waiting for Godot became as a relaxation to get away from the awful prose I was writing at the time. The play, setting in non-specific but symbolical, suggested of the modern wasteland as the play protagonist Vladimir and Estragon engaged in chatter derived equally from metaphysics and the music hall while they await the arrival of Godot, who never comes. What Godot presents, Beckett remarked, "If I knew, I would have said so in the play, and if by Godot I had meant God, I would have said God, not Godot," is far less important than the defining condition of fruitless and pointless waiting that the play dramatizes. Beckett explores on the stage the implication of the world in which nothing happens, in which our desire, revelations, and meaning resolutions are endlessly deferred. Beckett art is based on the world's ultimate incomprehensibility. "I think anyone nowadays," Beckett once said, "who pay the slightest attention to his own experience find it in the experience of non-knower, non-kenner, but powerfully stagnating radical uncertainty and the abdel of the futile waiting. Godot epitomizes the operating assumptions of the theatre of absurd. The play, subtitled A Tragic Comedy in Two Acts, does not, in the word of the Martin Island, tell a story. It explores a static situation that is encapsulated by the word of estragon. Nothing happens, nobody comes, nobody goes, it's awful. In fact, in Act 1, Didi and Gogo await the anticipated arrival of Godot, to whom they have made a kind of prayer, a vague supplications for something unspecified. The Godot has arrived to consider. However, it is by no means uncertain whether this is the right place or the day for the meeting. To pass the time, they consider hanging themselves. But the only available trees seems too frail to hold them, and they can't agree who should go first. Another pair arrives, Lucky, and the rope around his neck, loaded down a bag, picnic basket, stool, and a great coat, being whipped on the domineering Pozo, who claims to be the landowner, taking Lucky to the fair to sell it. They halt for Pozo to eat, and they ask Gogo and Didi if they would like to be entered by the Lucky's thinking, which turns out to be a long nonsensible monologue. After Pozo and Lucky depart, a boy enters, addresses Vladimir as Mr. Albert, and delivers the message that Mr. Godot will not be coming this evening but will surely come tomorrow. After the boy exits, Vladimir and Estragon also decided to leave, but no move to do so. In Act 2, places take places apparently the next day at the same time and the places, though the tree now has 4 or 5 leaves. Again, Vladimir and Estragon begins a vival, passing the time by exchanging questions, contradictions, insults, and hats, as well as pretending to be the Pozo and the Lucky, the original arrival. Here, the Pozo is now blind and bumps into the Lucky, knowing them both down. After debating whether they should help them get up, Didi Gogo also find themselves on the ground, unable to rise, with Vladimir announcing, "We have arrived, we are men." Eventfully, they regain their footing, supporting Pozo between them. Pozo has no recollection of their previous encounter, and when asked what he and Lucky do when they fall and there is no one to help them, Pozo says, "We wait till we can get up. Then we go on." When Didi asks if Lucky can think again for them before they leaves, Pozo reveals that Lucky is now dumb and he can't even groan. He have you done tormenting me with your accused time? When one day it is not enough for you. One day he was dumb, one day I went blind, one day we will go deaf, one day were born, one day we shall die. They give birth as tide of the grave, the light gleams of the instant. Then it's night once more. After Pozo and Lucky exit, the boy arrives to announce the Godot will not be coming evening. It will be without fail tomorrow. Although he appears to the same boy as yesterday, he denies this and runs off when a frustrated Vladimir glances at him. Stognos proposes going far away, but Vladimir reminds him that they must wait for Godot to come tomorrow. They return to the idea hanging themselves, but when they try to Estragon bent code, it breaks. Estragon pants downfall. They decide to bring a stronger rope the next time, and we shall hang ourselves tomorrow. Unless Godot comes, the play concludes. Balmic, "Well, shall we go?" Estragon's, "Yes, let's go." Beckett generates meaning in the waiting for the Godot through image repetitions and encounter points. Waiting for Godot, Pozo and Lucky, whose relationship paradise a master dynamic, and this conception of existence in which the death is the only outcome of birth. We are waiting for Godot to come. We have kept our appointment, that and to that. We are not saints, but we have kept our appointment. How many peoples can boost as much? To which Estragon replies, billions. By the comic calculus for the waiting for Godot continues to believe in the absence of the possibility of beliefs is the true heroism and the closest to get to human fulfillment. Beckett plays makes clear that the illusion that prevents us from confronting the core truth of the human existence must be stripped away. Whether in the storm sense of the Act 3 of the King Lear, the bare, unaccommodated man is revealed, or here on a country road, a tree evening.